Hey everybody, Ben here from the Bonehead podcast, and welcome to Stock Up Sunday. This is our weekly show where we have a look at all the new releases out there for Blood Bowl. We're going to start by looking at any official Games Workshop releases or previews of previews. Then we'll mosey on over to third-party territory, where we're looking at STLs, Kickstarters, and stuff you can just go out and buy right now. And then we'll end up on the Bonehead podcast shop to look at what products have finally made it there. So if there's something coming for Blood Bowl, or something you can buy right now and add to your ever-growing collection, this is the place for you. Anyway, let's start with the official Blood Bowl releases. Just kidding, there aren't any. Now, we just had Adepticon, that was this week, and there was no Blood Bowl news. We were kind of hoping for the next Blood Bowl team to be revealed or spoiled or previewed, but that is not the case. That has not happened. But I think we've got Warhammer Fest coming up in a few months' time. I reckon that will be the point at which the new, I don't know, maybe the next team or whatever Games Workshop have got brewing up for Blood Bowl will be coming out. So we've got a little while to wait. However, in the meantime, there have been a few things shown in the Warhammer community that may even be available for order. And we're going to start here with this boy here. So this is Bryce the Slice. This is the star player for Sylvanian Spotlight teams, which at the moment are Undead and Necro. And then in the Teams of Legend, you've got Tomb Kings and Vampires. He's the Undead Chainsaw guy. He's flaming like Ghost Rider, and I played against him in my league. Adam Pike, I'm looking right at you here. And he's got a sweet little ability that allows him to blitz with a +4 to an armor roll, which led to my brand new Rat Ogre being murdered from the very first game. So very cool star player. The Forge World model is available for order. We've got one on the way so that we can do an unboxing review when it gets here, because actually it's a very characterful and very cool model. But there's a couple of other things shifting out there in Games Workshop space that we're waiting on right now. We saw the preview of Puggy and Cindy, the halfling star players, who are going to be able, I think, playing for Old World Classic. So we're going to see bombers on dwarves and Puggy being thrown around by, I don't know, human ogres, OWA ogres, treemen. Could be really good fun. So looking forward to seeing those two stars. I don't believe they're out for order yet. I've not seen them on the Forge World site, so we're going to have to keep an eye out for these two because they're very cool models and very cool stars, as are what I think are probably two of the most winning stars out there at the moment. Drool and Dribble. Yeah, they're cool. Yeah, they're skinks. They don't do a huge amount more than a regular skink, so if you're running them in a Lizardman team, it's cool. It's thematic. But Amazons, and technically Slan, as another Lostrian Super League team, are going to love these guys, because not only does one of them have Dirty Player and one of them has Stab, and they can combine and do fusion and add extra bonuses to murdering things when they're together, but they give whichever team you're running a stunty Edge 3+, movement 8 dodge piece. No, two of them for like 170k. They are a massive boon for an Amazon team. So if you are running a competitive Amazon team in a tournament, not with the World Cup rules, but just with regular rules, these two guys here for 170k fit beautifully into a 1.1 or 1.15 Amazon roster and give you basically just boosted catchers. The Amazon Blitzers are kind of Amazon catchers. They're kind of redundant when you can take these guys who are faster and with that stunty bit really fit in there. Now, the rules are out, but the models are not. So we're waiting on a fair few Forge World star players to come. But I'm really pleased to say that they all have a great place in the game. So I think they're cool. I think they're worth the wait. That is it for official Games Workshop news. We're still waiting on the next release, the next team, so hopefully that won't be too long. But there are a couple of bits, or maybe just the one bit out there in third-party space at the moment. If you've been following for their channel for a while, you watched some of our Dungeon Bowl coverage last year, or you watched our print to pitch, MG Picks did a brilliant Kickstarter last year that was for a very cool dungeon system. Now, we used these tiles to make our 3D dungeon number 1 for the Dungeon Bowl Championship last year, and that dungeon's coming back again in the next 4 weeks, which is very exciting. He's gone and done an expansion set available on Tribes now. So this is on My Mini Factory. not tribes, on Frontiers, they do kind of a Kickstarter thing that's just for my mini factory. So if you've got STL printing ability, whether it's plastic or resin, because this is a dungeon kit, he's basically done a very cool expansion pack for it that I really wanted to show off. I'm not probably going to do a print to pitch for these, because I'm going to use these pieces in the actual third dungeon for the Dungeon Bowl Championship, so you will see them eventually when they hit the pitch. But you've got the core kit there that you can pick up, and then he's gone and done some really great stretch pieces there too. So you've got corner pieces, which is going to mean that there's a lot more flexibility in building your dungeon and building your rooms, but they've got wicked stairs and things and extra columns, and it really is just a cool way to add more stuff to your dungeon. So if you picked up the first edition of the MG Picks dungeon set, this is a really cool thing to add up, because you've got cool extra walls, extra grates, extra pillars, and he's done a lot of floor tiles as well. So I think there's some water floor tiles which are definitely going to be featuring in Dungeon 3 for the Dungeon Bowl Championship, that I really love. So it's cool, it's just a really great expansion piece, and I believe you can pick up the original one too as part of this if you didn't get that too. You've got tiles, you've got the rising tiles, which is very cool. So if you're going to be building a 3D dungeon, you've got a nice ability to do that with bits underneath. But it's just a really very dangerous product to have, because it gives you so much flexibility to make stuff that is so very cool. Okay, that wraps it up for the releases that are kicking around now. I am going to be that guy, and I'm going to do a little bit of product placement for something that we've had available on the Bonehead shop for a little while that I've never really showed off. Now, these are our weather cards. We've got them on the shop now, and they're not particularly expensive. The reason we've got these is because, as you will know from watching our series, we find it very easy to forget the weather effects in Blood Bowl. So we made a set of weather cards. Now, green screen, I love that. Always find it very distracting. And basically what these are there for is, if you do roll a weather effect, you can use the card, put it on the side of the pitch, and it is big, it is bright, and you will not forget what is going on. And I find these incredibly useful for my standard games, and even more useful for when we're filming stuff. Now, I'll admit, at the moment we're filming Dungeon Bowl stuff, which you don't really need Dungeon Bowl weather cards, although one day I'm hoping that we do have. But what it is really useful is a standard game of Blood Bowl, and I just wanted to take a moment to show them off. So do forgive me, I know it's product placement, but I think this is really useful. And that's why I'm sharing them, and that's why we've made them. So those are the weather cards from the Bonehead Podcast. And talking of the Bonehead Podcast, we've got a fair few things that have finally gone up onto our store. So we are doing resin 3D printing for Brute Fun and Ugni and Punga at the moment. Now, all of the Punga teams are now available on the website. We've done test prints for them, and they are fantastic models. But we've been adding the Brute Fun range and the Ugni range as we're going along as well. I won't put anything up for sale on the site without knowing I can print it to a really good standard. That's why we haven't put everything out immediately without some very, very, very thorough test printing. But new products that are up this week, we've got the Brute Fun Lizardman team. I know a lot of you have been waiting for that for a while, because it is just a fantastic, fantastic Lizardman team. If you want to see it, we used it for our Amazon game. So you've got the live stream game where you can see it in action. And I used it in our Death Bowl 7s game as well. So if you want some close-up pictures of some mostly printed versions of those, you can watch those games. They're great fun. They're great fun games, huh? On the ball, poor Ben. Anyway, we've fleshed out the Ugni star players now. We've got the Broke and Berry star player. We've got the Zote star player. We've got Bob. We've got a Carla Kill alternative. We've got a Snake Man alternative. And we've got Elton Windbreaker. Definitely not to be confused with Eldril Sidewinder. We've also added the Ugni High Elf team. And the Dark Elf team that we featured in the top 5 Friday last week. We got Lord Borak, we got Scylla, we've got Zug, we've got Bron and Brobble, the hey, the Skink Star players. We've got some helmet versions. We've got Broxana there as well. We've added a ton of the star players that are just excellent. And we've got that beautiful Dark Elf team. And don't forget, this month's release from Brute Fun is available on there too. And it is a very cool Skaven team. That's been really popular in the shop, and I am not surprised. So those are available on the Bonehead Podcast shop at the moment. The Dark Elf team is particularly one of my favorites at the moment. It's really fun to kind of look through the third-party teams, look through the alternatives, and just like be able to provide one, because we want to produce these because they are very good models. So that's been an absolute delight as well. Now, time to look ahead as to what's coming up this week. Not this week, but next week. So it is the end of the month. It's the Sunday the 26th as this video is coming out. And that means new month, which means new teams from the Patreon sphere. And I know we'll talk about this on the news segment in the podcast, but Torchlight are doing an ogre team. So they've previewed some of their ogres. Now they've gone proper Warhammer Fantasy 6th, 7th edition ogres. So they've got this kind of like steps vibe. They've got the big old gut plates, and they've got the typical cartoony Torchlight faces, which I think the team's going to look really good. There's a lot of good ogre teams out there. Ogni do a brilliant ogre team, and I think this is going to be a really nice addition to it as well. Torchlight did their nobility team at the beginning of this month, and again, you've got that kind of cartoony vibe that Torchlight go with. They're not the most serious of sculpts. No, nobility was last month. They did lizards this month. Not the most serious of sculpts, but they're a joy to paint. They're really good fun. So I'm looking forward to see the rest of the team there. But I'm also very excited for the Ugni Amazons team. Now, this is the only preview that Ugni have shown so far, so I am dying to get my hands on the STLs next week. But another great Amazon team, the Games Workshop one, is really good, but this is going to provide a nice alternative. And I think I might actually, I've been waiting for an Amazon team for ages, as you guys will know, that kind of sits with me and sings with me. And if the rest of the team drops looking like this, I think I might actually be running it in League, because Amazons are potent. We just talked about Drool and Dribble being really good with them. And if you watch the monthly meta this month, you'll know that Amazons have been going through some things. So it's actually quite cool and quite topical. No, wait, this goes out Sunday. Monthly meta's not out yet. Spoiler alert. And, I've skipped too many pages, because the other thing I want to show you doesn't have a preview page. Well, it does, but I wanted to show you a preview model. Now, you guys will know I've been looking forward to a skink team. A skink team? Yeah, I am actually. But a squig team. It's Brute Fun. This month, Brute Fun is doing a goblin team. But a goblin team themed as a squig team, which is just outrageous. And I've actually been taking the time to print and paint some of these models. So this is one of the cave squigs. Okay, which makes a nice strength 4 piece if you're going to be running it as a squig team. However, it's Brute Fun, right? So Brute Fun has gone to town and has made loads of positionals so that you can use this as a goblin team. We got a cool goblin fanatic who is represented by a squig lugging a goblin around. You got a goblin chainsaw here who is a goblin holding a squig, again to fit into that squig theme. And this bomber is just really cool. He reminds me of the of one of the merchants, the mask merchants from Zelda. And it's just a bomber who is feeding stuff to a squig that he will then throw, which is amazing. The whole team is a ton of fun. Oh my god, I got to show you the hopper. Where is the hopper? There's the hopper. The hopper is a whoa, there we go. Is a very cool model, and this guy is going to be great to represent a pogo stick in your goblin team. So I'm super excited to see the rest of this release get put together and released, and we'll have that up on the show on the shop as well, and we'll be definitely doing a print to pitch for that. And we've also got the Fanath Bretonian team that's come in and arrived, and I need to do an unboxing review for that one as well. So it's going to be a good week for Blood Bowl stuff. Okay, there we have it. It's Stock Up Sunday. I'm going to film this, put it together, and assume we're not going to see any previews on Sunday, but if we do, it will be inserted before this bit. So, wow, look at the cool previews. Or maybe not. I don't know. The great thing is, there's loads of stuff out for Blood Bowl. There's loads of stuff coming out for Blood Bowl. The game is in a great space. And ultimately, that just means that I think Stock Up Sunday's tagline fits very much with ours, which is, more Blood Bowl is more better. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back soon with more Blood Bowl content. Happy blocking. Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to support the channel even further, please like and subscribe. It really does help us out. Or come join us on YouTube Members or in Patreon, where you can get exclusive access to some content, some loot, early access to basically everything we do, as well as regular competitions. Or you can pick up some Bonehead Podcast loot either on our website at boneheadpodcast.com. We've got the Dungeon Bowl things, we've got tokens and stuff like that, or on our Spreadshirt site as well. Everything you do just helps us make more content and hopefully do it of better quality. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Happy blocking.